Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's O-Sheena. Today I'm gonna be doing a fun video. I'm really excited to do this, which is kind of funny, but a couple weeks ago-ish, I did a video sharing some mugs in my collection, and then I paired a book with it as a recommendation. And I've seen other people do this version before, but I wanted to do a plants version because I am kind of into plants and I just want to do this. So I'm going to be sharing a plant and then I'm going to recommend a book based on the plant. So let's get started. Yeah, and I know the names of most-ish. No, I don't. I don't know any of the technical names. I know the layman term names, sure. Okay, anyways, so my first plant is this snake plant. I don't remember Sansevieria. Is that a snake plant name, Sansevieria? I don't know. I got this at Walmart. It was $7 and it's doing pretty well. Like when I bought it, it was all like clumped together. I didn't do anything to it. This is what I bought it as. It has like opened up, so that's good, I think. And it has one new little leaf right there, and I'm excited. I hope that it lives. As you guys might not know, I live in a basement, a basement suite, so the light in here is terrible. I do have windows, but the sun like shines down into them, so the light is like very high, and so you will see some of my plants, you can tell, because like all of the leaves are at the top and then nothing's at the bottom. So anyways, I do have this in a window, but it doesn't get a ton of light, so I don't water it very often because I would drown it if I watered it too much. But yeah, okay, what am I doing? I'm recommending a book. Okay, based on this plant, I don't have an explanation, I just want to recommend this book. So I recommend The Tutor's Daughter by Julie Klassen. This is a recent read for me. I give it 5 stars. I highly recommend it. I loved it. So in this book you follow a tutor and his daughter, and they are going to work at a client's house. They're gonna stay with them and tutor their 2 younger sons because they tutored their 2 older sons years ago when the daughter was growing up, and so they're gonna actually live in their house now. And there is a mystery with the family that they're staying with, and there's a romance, and it's like a really good book. So yeah, I recommend it. It kind of came out of nowhere, and my love for the snake plant came out of nowhere too, because I at first thought they were kind of boring, but what was I thinking? Because this is amazing, and I don't think it's boring anymore, and I don't think The Tutor's Daughter is boring either. So there you go. Yeah. What do I do? I'm gonna put this back. Yeah. No particular order here, except I'm gonna end with my favorite one? Sure. Okay. Next I have this Christmas cactus, I believe it's called. It's doing pretty good. I actually got this from my grandma. This came from her house, and it actually hasn't changed since I got it. And I don't think I've watered it since I got it either. So it seems to be happy just like this. But I mean, obviously it got a lot of light on this side and like none on this side, so I don't know what's happening. Yeah, this is a Christmas cactus, I'm pretty sure. The ends are supposed to turn like pinkish red. Haven't seen that yet, but you know, I love this. So yeah, I don't know what the official name of this is. I just know that it's called a Christmas cactus. So I have to recommend a Christmas book, and you all already know I love Catching Christmas. So I'm going to recommend a different book. I recommend The White Christmas Inn by, forgot the author. You'll see the picture, it's fine. Yeah, this I would say is my second favorite Christmas story, just because every character you followed like had a kind of a different life story that you were following, and you got to know them and stuff. And I'm like talking really fast because I'm so excited. I need to calm down. I love this story. Okay, so you follow a struggling inn kind of in the wilderness. They're thinking this is going to be their last Christmas to be open, and then they need to sell it because they can't afford to stay open, because there's like a fancy resort up the street that opened and is taking all their business. So anyways, but then there's a snowstorm, and the snowstorm makes it so people can't get to the fancy resort. So a couple people end up coming to this inn because that's the only place they can stay. and you follow like just different groups of people that come to stay at the inn over Christmas. And I just thought it was a beautiful story. You follow, you know, all these characters and you learn about them and you learn about the owners, and just every story had such a nice heartwarming message to it. It was a really happy book, so I would definitely recommend that Christmas story. It was very good. Okay, another plant I wasn't so sure about, but I like him now. It is the spider plant. So he's doing much better than when I got him. He was like really skinny and like floppy, and I don't know if I didn't like put him in deep enough or something, but he definitely has some rootage to him now. And I think this guy is new, actually. I don't actually know. Oh, he's just a little bent. So this guy needs a lot of sun, and I don't have a lot of sun, so I try not to water him very much. It's kind of a funny looking plant. But yeah, this is the spider plant. And spider plants can get like huge, and I hope that this does that, because then you can like propagate them and make a whole bunch and it'll be fun. But I probably don't get enough sun to do that. So anyways, what did I recommend? Oh, I'm gonna recommend Heart of Red, Blood of Blue by Rebecca Belliston, because man, what a good book. And I'm so thrilled that you guys have embraced it and are reading it, and it's getting some recognition because it's a really great story. It's like medieval, but it's set in our world. I guess it's urban fantasy because there's made-up kingdoms, but they are set on Earth. You follow kind of these three rival kingdoms, and the princess of one of them is the last heir to the throne, so her dad has like sent her away to grow up like away because everyone's trying to kill her. But then he arranges for her to be married to another king from another kingdom, and she goes and she meets him, and he's terrible, so she runs away because she's like, I can't marry this guy. You follow her journey of running away and the people she meets and the discoveries and everything. It is such a well-crafted plot. There's mystery, there's romance, there's humor, there's faith. It's great. That is my recommendation, and this nice plant I also recommend. Okay, now we've got a couple succulents that I don't know the names at all, so I'm just gonna say succulent number 1 and succulent number 2. So succulent number 1 is this little guy. Actually, he's a pretty big guy. So I recommend A Worthy Pursuit by Karen Witemeyer, I believe, because this is also historical. You follow this teacher who is working at a school, but the school's gonna close, and she's teaching, and she teaches a bunch of like adopted / foster care type children, and when the school closes, they're all gonna go back into the system, and she wants to save them from it. So she ends up taking, I think, 3 or 4 with her, and she actually has to like run away with them because the government or whoever won't let her do that. So she does it in secret, and she's protecting them. So you follow her with the kids, and then you also follow a bounty hunter who is sent to find her and rescue these kids. Rescue, you know. But yeah, it's historical. It's set in the 1800s in America somewhere. It was just nice, you know? And just like this plant, it's just nice. So I would recommend it. Okay, succulent number 2 is a little more spicy. Look at this guy. Yeah, no idea what he is, but he actually doesn't look too happy. I really don't know. He's probably not getting enough sun, I guess. I don't know. Like, I never water him because I know that like they don't need a lot of water, they just need a lot of sun. And I wonder if this pot is too big for it. I don't know. But I wanted to give him lots of space, but he hasn't been doing much, and like he's kind of pokey. I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so my recommendation is Thief of Corinth by Tessa Afshar. So it's biblical fiction, and you follow this girl. She's surrounded by Bible characters, but she herself is a made-up character. Her parents are divorced, I guess. So she's living with her mom, and she's becoming of age to get married off, and she really doesn't want to do it. So she runs off to Corinth, where her dad lives, to go stay with him. You meet characters that you recognize from the Bible along the way. There's a romance, and it was a good story. I really liked it. I just love Tessa Afshar's writing and the way that she crafts a Bible story. It's just really cool. It's really good. So definitely recommend that book, and nice plant, right? Okay, we're getting to my top 3 favorites, so let's keep going. What do I choose first? Okay. This is my biggest one. It is the jade plant, Look at this beauty. He's kind of wobbly because, I don't know, I guess there's not enough dirt in there. I don't know how to do this. But when I got this plant, these two things that are in the ground right now, can you tell? They were actually up on these two. So I cut them off and put them down here, and now they've been growing, and each one has two growing out of them, and then these two are down there still, and they haven't really done anything since I put them in there, but they're not dead, so that's good. Yeah, I just think this is such a cool plant, and I have heard that jade plants like a smaller pot, even though they're big, so like I've thought about repotting it into a bigger pot because it feels like it's too big for it, but then I read that they like to be in small pots, so I'm like, oh, well, this is probably just fine then, because like there's kind of technically 3 in 1 right here. Yeah, this is my jade plant. It's the biggest plant that I have, and the book that I wrote down that I want to recommend is Before I Called You Mine by Nicole Deese, because wow, this is a really good story. Looks like every book that I'm recommending is a romance, but I can't help it. Yes, this is a romance, and you follow a teacher who is thinking of adopting, well, she's planning to adopt from China as a single woman because she's 30 and she doesn't expect to get married anytime soon, and she really wants to be a mom, and she feels called to be a mom, and she feels called to adopt. So she starts that process, but then when she's so close to getting a child, she meets a guy, and then she's conflicted, and then things happen with the adoption that change her plans a little bit, and it's just her story of figuring that out, and it's a faith story, so she's praying the whole time, and it's so well written, it's so beautiful, the characters are so real, but I love that the way the relationship is written and the way the guy treats her, it's exactly how I would want to be treated, but it also feels very realistic, and so I loved it. It's amazing. So I would highly recommend the book, and then I would recommend a jade plant because they're fairly easy to take care of, and then they're actually pretty easy to propagate because like I cut these dudes off a long time ago and they're still kicking. So yeah, and then it's growing more, so I'm very proud of it. We're down to my 2 top favorite plants that I own because they both are very special for different reasons. We will do this one first. This is a type of aloe. It's not like the big aloe that you can have. This is a succulent aloe. I don't know. I guess all aloes are succulents. At first I thought this was the real aloe that you could like cut off the branches and like get the juice from and use actual aloe vera, you know? But it's not. This is just a little baby of it, or a little cousin, I don't know. But I bought this from Walmart for $3 like 2 years ago, and it was tiny when I bought it, and it has now blossomed into this beautiful little guy, and I love him. And it's so easy to take care of this guy because he's been in the same pot the whole time, haven't changed the dirt. I water him probably once a month, maybe less, honestly, and he's just happy. Give him some light, and he actually has grown so much, and there's new guys coming up the middle. It's great. I'm very proud of this guy, and he just makes me happy to look at him because he's so easy to take care of, and he still grows. Okay, I was wrong. I have one book to hold up, and it is Shadow Spinner. So this is the book that I recommend for my little aloe because, I don't know, I just want to recommend this book. This is the book that I recommended in my middle grade March cameo that I did with Krista from Books and Jams. She put together like a compilation video of a bunch of booktubers recommending middle grade, and I am in it, and this is the book that I recommended in it. I had to read this book for school, which is so great. I read it in university. This book is a retelling of the 1001 Nights folklore tale, whatever. It has like the same character names, so Shahrazad is the queen who like volunteered to be the next queen because the king kills his wife every night, but she kept herself from being killed by telling him a story that has been going on and on and on for 1,000 years, or however long it says in here. But she's running out of stories and she's freaking out, so they're always on the lookout for new stories to tell. And this little girl named Marjan is really good at telling stories. She has kind of a sad past that you learn about, but she is good with stories. So the sister of Shahrazad hears Marjan telling a story, and so she's like, come to the palace and tell Shahrazad your story because she needs a new story. And so you follow this little girl going to the palace and helping Shahrazad tell this story. And you also get to like hear the story as well. You hear different stories that they tell, so there's a bit of metafiction in there. And it's such a good book. The ending is really, really good. Like the whole message of how stories have power and they can teach you a lesson without you realizing it is so great. So yeah, I definitely wanted to recommend this. I haven't really talked about middle grade much on my channel, but I would really like to because there's some amazing stories out there. So yeah, there is my pairing for this. Okay, and my favorite plant that I own is my coffee plant. This I bought a year ago, and it has traveled with me, and I have really tried to take care of it because I just love the look of it. This is how I want all my plants to look. I really like the shape and the look of the leaves. I like how it grows, and this is the pot I bought it in, so it's still kicking. For now, it's doing fine, and what I like about coffee plants is they tell you what they need basically, because when they need water, the leaves droop, and then you water them and they perk back up. If you've watered them too much, the leaves like curl in themselves, and then also some brown and like die. And for the most part, it's been a really easy plant to take care of, and it can bounce back if you either water it or overwater it. I love this plant. It makes me very happy. The book that I recommend with this plant is If I Run by Terri Blackstock, because I'm currently reading the trilogy, although I'm probably done it by the time you're seeing this. I'm on the 3rd book right now, but I'm recommending the 1st book. This trilogy is such a good, it's a tight-knit trilogy because the timeline like starts with If I Run, and then there's no breaks. Like between each book, there's no time. You just pick up where you left off, which is really nice. And you're following like a core group of characters. Just, it's really easy to get invested. You end up following this girl who's on the run because she finds her best friend murdered, and she knows that she's gonna be blamed for it. And she doesn't feel like she can trust the police. So she runs away. And then you also follow the perspective of a PI that's hired to find her. So that is the story, and it is so great. Everyone says it's so great, and it really is. Like, I wouldn't say there's anything that I would say, oh, you might not like this. Like, no. The faith in it is just right, the romance is just right, and the mystery is like pretty major, but like believable, and the plot of each book is just so good. And seeing the way that God takes care of these characters is so cool. So yeah, I'm recommending that along with this plant. It's great. And that is it. I had such a good time sharing my plants with you and sharing these books. Hope you guys enjoyed. That is it. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye.